What is a title policy? Now, essentially, it's a form of insurance that protects both the buyer and the lender against any defects or issues with the property title. Think of it as a shield that safeguards your ownership rights. Now, why is it important in Texas? Well, Texas has a rich history of land ownership with various factors such as Spanish land grants, mineral rights, and homestead exemptions. A lot of jargon, but it adds to the layer of complexity to property titles in Texas. Now, this complexity makes having a title policy even more critical to ensuring a smooth and secure transaction. So, what does a title policy cover exactly? Well, it typically includes protection against a range of issues such as ownership disputes. Now, we want to ensure that the seller actually has the legal right to transfer ownership to you without any conflicting claims. Believe me or not, there is fraud with this. So it is a real thing that happens, and people have feigned ownership of a property and sold it to unsuspecting buyers only for the buyer to take on a loan and sign closing documents and to quickly realize that they have been tricked. So do not let this happen to you. Believe me, it's a nightmare. Then we have liens and judgments. Now, you want to check for any outstanding debts or legal judgments against the property that could affect your ownership. In order for you to receive a clean title, you will want any previous liens paid off. So this goes for you too, Mr. Seller. So then you have your easements and encroachments. Now, what is an easement? An easement grants another person, entity, or business the right to access or use someone else's property. It basically gives a non-titled party an interest in the property. Easements are often granted to utility companies for things such as water service, sewer lines, and drainage, as well as access to transportation routes. Now, easements may be above ground, below ground, or both, and a single property may have more than one easement. An encroachment occurs when a property owner trespasses onto their neighbor's property by building or extending structures beyond the property line. Property owners may encroach on their neighbors intentionally or unintentionally. Now, there's a specific section on the contract that talks about shortages in area. This means that the buyer is now also covered for discrepancies, conflicts in boundary lines, and any encroachments, protrusions, or overlapping of improvements. It costs 5% of the cost of the policy, which is completely worth it in my opinion, just a couple $100. As of 2019, a title policy for a $300,000 home costs $1,886, 5% of which is $95. So don't be cheap. Pay for this for the extra peace of mind. Now we have survey errors. This is extremely important as you want to verify the property boundaries and ensure they align with what is represented in the legal documents. Then we also have forgery and fraud, protecting against fraudulent claims to the property title, such as forged signatures or documents. This is what title insurance is for, a title policy. Now, once you've made an offer on a property and it's been accepted, an in-depth title search is conducted to uncover any potential issues. This search examines public records, deeds, mortgages, and any other documents that verify the property's history. After the search is complete, a title commitment is issued outlining any exceptions or issues found during the search. More than likely, these may need to be resolved before closing on the property. Now, once resolved, the title policy is issued, providing protection to both you as the buyer and your lender for the future. Now, at closing, you'll pay a one-time premium for this title policy. This premium is based on the property's purchase price. It provides coverage for you as long as you or your heirs own the property. It's a relatively small cost compared to the peace of mind it provides knowing that your property rights are protected. Now, who pays for the title policy between the seller and buyer? Well, typically it's customary for the seller to pay because they've been living there before you. However, as with most things in real estate, it's negotiable. Are you in a seller's market? Most likely the buyer should expect to pay for this. Now, has the home been sitting for 6 months? Perhaps the seller will be more inclined to pay. It really just all depends. A title policy in Texas real estate is an essential safeguard for both buyers and lenders. It ensures that you're receiving clear and marketable title to your property, free from any legal encumbrances or defects. So when you're navigating the Texas real estate market, make sure to prioritize obtaining a title policy. It's an investment in your property's future and your peace of mind.